So it's happened. After weathering years of upset fans, dwindling popularity, and low sales figures, the New 52 is no more. Within 1 week, the last 5 years of continuity has been heavily asterisked, and DC's convoluted legacy has been restored. But, is this a carefully planned plot twist, or a haphazard attempt at peacemaking? Perhaps only time will tell. But for now, it's time to draw some hasty conclusions. Since the beginning, DC Comics has been obsessed with two things: the metatextual power of storytelling and the legacy of its characters. When wielded correctly, these elements tend to produce the finest comic books in the world, and when abused, we get convergence. But, love them or hate them, DC's commitment to these ideas has undeniably seen it do some strange things. The need to find new readers saw the streamlining of its history through multiple crisis storylines, and the machinations of fans and writers led to Superboy punching the walls of continuity itself. In this spirit, 2011's New 52 reboot began as an attempt to provide readers with a new point of entry to the DC universe, reinventing characters that were seen as stale, as well as introducing new ones. Publication schedules and formats were also largely homogenized across the entire line of books, a feat which has impressively been well maintained. But, as the sales slumped, series were cancelled, and we all cried out for the return of the classic heroes, DC was left scrambling through new events and partial reboots to take the lead back from Marvel. Enter Rebirth, the book whose writer, Jeff Johns, is willing to buy back from you if you're still unhappy. For Johns, the guy behind Flashpoint and Batman v Superman, Rebirth seems to be as much apology letter as resignation, casting aspersions on the corporate design of the New 52 and his own recent work. This level of pandering to an audience is dangerous at the best of times, but as I read Rebirth, I couldn't help but admire Johns for devouring such a staggering amount of humble pie. For a writer who too often focuses upon politics and realism when writing characters designed to explore the infinite depths of the universe, Rebirth does a good job of paying tribute to the more absurd aspects of the DCU, and that I appreciate. However, I find it very hard to have the same optimism about Rebirth's big twist. That is, the revelation that the Watchmen are somehow responsible for creating the New 52. While Rebirth does not formally introduce the Watchmen universe, the appearance of the comedian's badge in the Batcave is unmistakable, as is the book's final line of dialogue. What is less certain is everything else. Many people seem to have come to the foregone conclusion that Dr. Manhattan is the new villain being set up in Rebirth. However, the evidence for that seems strangely tenuous. Manhattan does not appear in the book, though we see evidence of strange cosmic powers in a couple of panels, and as far as Watchmen characters go, he is the only one with such reality-altering abilities. For me personally, the bigger question mark over this new villain's identity is Manhattan's complete lack of motivation. Even the book itself seems undecided on exactly why this new force reset the DCU, and the particularly apathetic Dr. Manhattan has notably little interest in human affairs. If he is indeed the new threat in Rebirth, then a satisfying explanation for his involvement will be required, and with Johns now exiting the fold, it worries me that this motivation may have been left blank. On the other hand, perhaps these Watchmen allusions are purely symbolic of how serious and grim the DCU has become, and Rebirth is merely attempting to create a juxtapositioning effect as it heads towards more optimistic territory. That would be the best case scenario, and unfortunately that is all but precluded by the mystery of the wristwatch and the smiley badge, elements which demand some sort of crossover in the future. Of course, whether the Watchmen themselves are somehow in the DC universe, or if this chapter is acting as more of a style guide for the upcoming Rebirth, remains to be seen. But merely invoking the Watchmen iconography sets the bar impossibly high, Watchmen being a strong contender for the best graphic novel of all time. And as much as I wish there was more of it, I know there can't be. A lesson I wish DC would learn. DC, please stop trying to publish new Watchmen stories. There aren't any more Watchmen stories. In a way, this reminds me of Carrie Kelly's integration into the mainline continuity shortly after the death of Damian Wayne. While it certainly got my attention for its weirdness, Carrie's appearance was a strange and ultimately pointless distraction which most people have long since forgotten. Given that Carrie Kelly's Robin was also from a parallel version of the mainline continuity, Her introduction also made a lot more sense than the twist in Rebirth. All this aside, it seems that Rebirth has many people excited about DC Comics once again, but for those of us burnt before, skepticism is natural and healthy. The fact that once again, Scott Snyder, DC's best writer this side of Grant Morrison, will be isolated from this new continuity suggests to me that nothing much has actually changed. With Tom King taking over the writing duties on the main Batman story, one which looks to be closely tied to the plot of Rebirth, Snyder is taking Batman on a cross-country road trip in All-Star Batman, all but ensuring that there will be no unfortunate run-ins with the Frank Miller crew. And while I am looking forward to All-Star Batman, it is frustrating that another legendary Batman story is going to be tied to an uncertain period in DC history. Snyder and Capello's Batman was, after all, the best part of the New 52, and he participated in exactly 0 line-wide events, with the editors always finding a way to shamelessly skip past the crossovers. And when your best book is that isolated from the continuity, what exactly is the point of having a continuity at all? Finally, it serves mentioning that Rebirth brought a new status quo for several characters. New 52 Superman died fighting the most boring villain imaginable, and while everyone was busy not caring, classic Superman appeared to take his place. The Mobius chair did not reveal the Joker's identity as promised, but rather revealed that the Joker is 3 different people. Also, Wonder Woman has a twin brother, and Darkseid is now a baby. All twists which, no matter what, you cannot deny, did happen.